Alright, let's be honest, America, we've had a lot of presidents. But when it comes to sheer impact, two names always seem to top the list: Barack Obama and Donald J. Trump. These two are like the Coke and Pepsi of American politics. Obama, the smooth talker, the eloquent orator, the guy who could make you believe in hope and change. And then there's Trump, the Twitter tornado, the king of chaos, the guy who could launch 1,000 memes with a single tweet. Two presidents, two completely different approaches, and two legacies that will be debated for generations to come. So buckle up, folks, because on this episode of Echoes of Greatness, we're diving headfirst into the belly of the beast to answer one question: who had a bigger impact, Obama or Trump? Welcome to Echoes of Greatness. Today we're diving into the ultimate presidential face-off: Donald Trump versus Barack Obama. Who had a bigger impact? Let's find out. Let's talk leadership, shall we? Because when it comes to Obama and Trump, it's like comparing a meticulously crafted Swiss watch to a screaming toddler with a megaphone. Obama, with his calm demeanor and carefully chosen words, always seemed to be striving for unity, for consensus. He was the cool jazz musician of presidents, all smooth saxophone and thoughtful improvisation. Trump, on the other hand, well, he's more like a heavy metal concert, loud, brash, and guaranteed to leave your ears ringing for days. He thrived on conflict, on division, on firing up his base with fiery rhetoric and tweets that could melt steel beams. And you know what? It worked. People couldn't look away. He was the political equivalent of a five-car pileup, horrifying but impossible to ignore. Obama's approach was all about inspiration, about appealing to our better angels. Remember those soaring speeches, the ones that made you feel like anything was possible? Yeah, Trump wasn't really going for that. He was all about channeling the anger, the frustration, the feeling that the system was rigged against everyday Americans. And boy, did he tap into something. He spoke directly to the people who felt ignored, left behind, forgotten by the political elite. Obama tried to bring people together, to bridge divides. Trump seemed to revel in them, using them to fuel his rise to power. So, who connected better with the people? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Okay, let's talk money, because that's what really gets America going, right? Obama inherited an economy that can only be described as a dumpster fire. The Great Recession, remember? Yeah, good times. So what did he do? He went full Keynesian on it, pumping billions into the economy with stimulus packages and bailouts. Did it save the American auto industry and prevent a complete economic meltdown? Most economists would begrudgingly say yes, but let's not forget the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare as it's more affectionately known. Love it or hate it, it was a massive overhaul of the American healthcare system, expanding coverage to millions who previously couldn't afford it. Now, enter Trump, stage right, with his signature swagger and a tax cut plan so large it would make even Ronald Reagan blush. He promised to unleash the American economy, to bring back jobs, to make America great again. And you know what? The stock market loved it. It was boom times on Wall Street, at least for a while. But here's the thing about Trump's economic policies: they largely benefited the wealthy, widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots. So, who handled the economy better? Obama, the pragmatist who steered America out of a recession, or Trump, the showman who presided over a period of economic growth that primarily benefited the already wealthy? It's a tough one, folks. Alright, let's talk about America's favorite pastime, foreign policy, because nothing says global superpower like bombing a country back to the Stone Age, right? Just kidding. Mostly. Now, Obama, he was all about that diplomacy life. Remember the Iran nuclear deal? That was him, folks. He managed to bring together world powers to strike a deal that, while not perfect, prevented Iran from developing nuclear weapons. He also restored America's standing in the world after the, shall we say, misadventures of the Bush administration. Trump, on the other hand, preferred a more direct approach. America first was his motto, and he wasn't afraid to use tariffs, threats, and a whole lot of Twitter diplomacy to get his point across. He cozied up to dictators, alienated allies, and generally made the world feel like a much more unstable place. So whose foreign policy was more effective? Obama's diplomacy-first approach, or Trump's speak softly and carry a big tweet strategy? Honestly, it's too early to say. Foreign policy is a long game, and the consequences of a president's actions often take years, if not decades, to fully play out. Here we are, folks, the moment of truth. Who left a stronger mark on America, Obama or Trump? Obama, the first African-American president, brought a message of hope and change to a nation still reeling from the Bush years. He was the cool, collected professor we all wished we had in college. The one who made you believe in the power of words and the possibility of progress. He was adored by many, loathed by some, and ultimately left office with relatively high approval ratings. Not bad for a guy who inherited 2 wars and an economy in freefall. Trump, on the other hand, was the polar opposite. He was the brash, outspoken businessman who promised to drain the swamp of Washington, D.C., even if it meant blowing the whole place up. He divided the country like no president before him, inspiring both fervent loyalty and deep-seated hatred. He was impeached twice, for God's sake, which is about as American as apple pie and mass shootings. Yet despite all the chaos, all the scandals, all the tweets that made you want to throw your phone across the room, he maintained a remarkably loyal base of supporters. How? Why? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Perhaps it was his outsider status, his willingness to break the norms of political discourse. Or maybe it was his message, his promise to put America first, even if that meant alienating allies and cozying up to dictators. Whatever the reason, there's no denying that Trump left an indelible mark on American society. He exposed the deep divisions that have always existed in this country, the fault lines of race, class, and ideology that have only widened in recent years. So, who left a stronger legacy? It's a tough one. So there you have it, folks, the tale of two presidents, two legacies, and two very different visions for America. Obama, the conciliator, the diplomat, the believer in hope and change, and Trump, the disruptor, the showman, the tweeter-in-chief. Who had a bigger impact? Honestly, it's too early to say. History is a fickle mistress, and it's often only with the passage of time that we can truly assess the impact of a leader's actions. So, who do you think had a bigger impact on America, Trump or Obama? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more thought-provoking content. See you next time on Echoes of Greatness.